This presentation examines the topic of agritourism, and the target audience is who live and work on small farms and ranches across the heartland of America. The topic of agritourism is important because it may help to address the issue of the loss of small farms and ranches as the global economy continues to worsen, making it increasingly difficult for small farms and ranchers to operate at a profit. Agritourism may be one resource available to assist farmers and ranchers in being able to remain in business and keep the land in agricultural use. As the global economy continues to worsen, it becomes more and more difficult for farmers and ranchers to operate their business at a profit. These agricultural producers are looking for new sources of income as costs continue to rise and yield remains static or in some cases dropping. Many small farmers and ranchers are seeking ways in which to diversify their operation. Agritourism offers one solution to this problem. I propose that the state of Kansas provide resources to small farmers and ranchers to assist them in creating agritourism opportunities. This could include providing low-interest loans to fund startup costs, free or low-cost advertising on state-run websites, and in publications produced by the state targeting tourists. The creation of more state lakes and hunting preserves in rural areas, and the formation of agritourism cooperatives to encourage farmers and ranchers to work together to create activities and lodging that would draw tourists to rural areas of Kansas. The first step in providing assistance to farmers and ranchers wishing to begin agritourism enterprises would be to determine which state departments should oversee the project. I propose that the project should be overseen by the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Commerce. The second step would be to determine what assistance would be provided, as well as how it would be provided. This would include determining the goals and benchmarks of the program of assistance. It would also include determining the assessment criteria that would show whether or not the program was having a positive impact on farmers and ranchers, as well as rural communities and the state of Kansas as a whole. Another aspect to look at would include how, when, or if the assistance would be paid for by farmers and ranchers taking advantage of the program. The third step would be to determine the qualifying factors for receiving assistance. This would involve conducting a study to determine who would best benefit from state assistance, as well as the types of agritourism that show the most promise in each region of Kansas. The fourth step would involve providing information regarding the program to farmers and ranchers throughout the state. This could entail utilizing the media, as well as holding informational meetings throughout the state. Kansas State University Extension Services could also be utilized to get the information to the farmers and ranchers. The fifth step would be to accept applications and begin to provide funding or other assistance. The sixth step would involve tracking performance. This would entail gathering information from those producers who have received assistance regarding how the assistance and agritourism are impacting their financial outlook. This would also involve obtaining information from rural communities regarding how agritourism in the area is impacting the community. The seventh and final step would involve examining all of the data to determine whether or not the program has been successful. Agritourism combines agriculture with tourism and is also connected with societal goals found in the United States, such as wildlife conservation, obesity reduction, and the survival of small farms in the global community. It may consist of any activity that brings tourists to a farm or ranch. In a broader sense, agritourism may consist of any activity that brings tourists to a rural area or community while highlighting agriculture. Agritourism allows those who do not live on farms or ranches to have a glimpse into what the life is like for farmers and ranchers, and possibly experience some of the activities associated with farming, ranching, and rural life in general. The old form of agritourism that was brought about by farmers and ranchers in Japan and Western Europe, which allowed skiers to stay on farms and ranches as a less expensive way to access the ski slopes, has given way to the modern form of agritourism that tourists know today. Dude ranches, cattle drives, and pick-your-own-fruit farms are more modern types of agritourism. With many farmers facing challenges as production outgrows demand, farmers and ranchers are realizing that they need to diversify their production and resources in order to survive. Farmers and ranchers engaged in agritourism are motivated by the added income. Current surveys show that 25% of the people surveyed in Europe prefer a rural vacation. Agritourism may take on many different activities. In Barber County, where I live, a majority of the farmers and ranchers lease areas in their land to hunters and fishermen. Hunting and fishing leases provide a significant increase in income for ranchers, farmers, and community. This is easily seen in most rural Kansas towns on the opening day of pheasant or deer season. Two good examples of agritourism are outside Manhattan, Kansas. The first is Feast of the Fields. This event is held twice a year. The first event is held in June and is a farm-to-table event which is held in the cornfield on the farm. The second event in October is held in a limestone barn which was built in 1876. It is also a farm-to-table event. Both are hosted by River Creek Farm, and the food is prepared by a 4-star chef. Other agritourism example in the Manhattan area is a family-operated ranch in the Flint Hills that holds barbecue beef suppers and cowboy poetry readings. Co-owner Ron Wilson is a cowboy poet. The operation also has a petting zoo, stone barn tours, and a hayrack ride. In Barber County, there are 2 guest ranches. One of these guest ranches has an event center and hosts weddings, family reunions, and other large get-togethers. The other ranch hosts outdoor concerts and barbecues in the warmer months. Agritourism helps farmers and ranchers to alleviate the cost of unforeseen issues, such as weather damage and market fluctuations. By utilizing agritourism, a farmer or rancher may add to his income. This is particularly helpful when growing low-yield crops, as it will help offset the loss of production from what higher-yield crops would provide. Farmers are beginning to realize that by utilizing agritourism as a source of added income, they not only have a source of income to help offset things they cannot control, but agritourism can also raise the value of their business to the local communities. As farmers utilize agritourism, it helps to foster a growing demand for outdoor recreation, which in turn brings added money into the community in the form of purchases made by tourists. Agritourism can also help the environment through providing for wildlife conservation, bird watching, hunting, and fishing for population control. In some areas, agritourism may lead to the development of wildlife conservation areas or the construction of man-made lakes. As society becomes more and more urbanized, the need to reconnect with the land and spend time in a peaceful rural setting is becoming more pronounced. Agritourists enjoy feeling as though they are contributing to the farm or ranch. They enjoy the feeling of being self-sufficient and learning where their food comes from. Currently, organic farms and ranches are popular destinations for those who want to spend time working on a farm or ranch. All farms and ranches can benefit from agritourism. However, especially through working cooperatively with other farms and ranches, the Chamber of Commerce, and other organizations to market their services. Agritourism is showing potential to enhance agriculture entities as a whole. While also benefiting the local communities, agritourism may provide farmers and ranchers a better way to not only increase their income, but also to better utilize their resources. As agritourism and rural tourism continue to grow in demand, the time to consider agritourism activities to your farm and ranch is now.